Jen, thank you, and welcome back to the Granite State debates and the 2nd Congressional District with the nominees Democrat Maggie Goodlander and Republican Lily Tong-Williams. We're going to jump right back into the questions, starting with Ariel Metropolis.
Ms. Tong-Williams, we have a question for you first. There has been some lack of clarity regarding your position about what happened back in 2020 and 2021 when it came to the peaceful transfer of power. Can you please tonight clarify for voters at home, did President Joe Biden win the 2020 election, and was it a free and fair election?
I have said before, we have President Biden as in the White House, and he won the election. He was certified, but some people had questions about our elections. There are some questionable evidence to suggest our federal government censored during pandemic the COVID-19 information, and including Hunter Biden laptop information. Facebook CEO come out to say that. Lots of people were censored when canceled. Because of that, so 2020 election, how do you call that 100%? No question asked. So people had the questions, they were upset, and they want to protest it. But I have said that again and again, that we need to move forward, and Biden is our president. But his disastrous 4 years is not good for our country, for our people. I hope people realize that, and I hope we change the direction of this country.
But to be clear, do you believe that the election in 2020 was fair and free?
Well, I always say this, I do not know. I can tell people, when I don't know something, I tell you the truth. I don't know. I'm not God. I'm not angel. I don't pretend I know everything. I had the questions myself, but once we move on, Biden is the president, then we start to look at our country moving forward. But you cannot call people, even look at Hillary Clinton challenged 26 elections. Many times I remember on TV, people are allowed to question and to answer and take, like we just cannot pretend we know everything. So when I say I don't know, I'm honestly tell you, I don't know. I just had the questions.
Ms. Goodlander.
May I just say something? These are not legitimate questions. These are conspiracy theories at this point that have been debunked by federal courts all across this country. These are not serious questions, and it is dangerous to our democracy to continue to spread these conspiracy theories. These questions were asked and they were answered by courts of law. They were answered by Congress. Anyone who casts doubt on the peaceful transfer of power and on the legitimacy of the votes of the American people and the people of New Hampshire has no business running for Congress or serving in the people's house.
You know what? I know you taught Constitution. We are constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. We have a representative democratic government, which actually, when you talk about censorship, when you talk about weaponized government, when you talk about labeling another side extreme instead of have conversations, it's not democratic at all. Don't use the word democracy to shut people down. Even former Democrat, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard were censored and shut down. Censorship from the federal government, from Biden administration, you're part of it, from DOJ, actually should come out clean to say, why did they censor people? Why you are not capable to have a democratic conversations?
The right to vote is the right from which all of our rights flow. And it is so essential that anyone who is seeking an office of public trust in this country respects the will of the voters and respects our democracy. The outcomes, the legitimate outcomes of elections, including and especially when they don't go your way. This is so core to who we are as a country. It's so core to our Constitution. And these conspiracy theories have absolutely no place in this debate or in any debate, because these are the conspiracy theories that people are advancing to try to divide us.
Well, Ms. Goodlander, we do have another question for you.
We're going to take another question.